Games like Celeste, Hollow Knight, or even Mario Bros, they feel amazing to play. They feel responsive, whereas something like this doesn't. But here's the thing. These games are basically the same. The underlying code, the jump, the movement, grabbing a coin, it's all the same. So why does one feel amazing, whereas the other one just feels like a dead fish flopping on land? And no, it's not the graphics. Now, while it might just be easy to blame the graphics, plenty of ugly games feel incredible. Not only that, but a lot of these games can be indie games. So it's not the huge budget, and it's not even the code. This game runs fine. There's nothing wrong with it. There's something else that you add to these games to make them feel so good. So let's see if we can figure out what it is. So there's actually a name for this, and it's called game feel, or other known as game juice. But honestly, knowing the name doesn't really help you much. So here's what I did. I took this little plain platformer, and I started adding things to it until it actually feels good. So let's go through what I added one piece at a time. The first one is movement. Now, the basic way to move a character is to just give it a velocity, press a direction, and it moves. And while that works, there's way more to it than that. Because in real life, for example, nothing moves instantly. We move with acceleration and friction, we speed up, and we slow down. So right now, in this game, without that, the character just snaps to full speed and snaps to a dead stop. It just feels really robotic, very lifeless. But once you add a little acceleration and friction, he takes a few more frames to actually speed up and to actually slow down. And suddenly he feels like he actually has some weight to him. He has momentum, like he actually has mass to him. Now, here's the cool part. It's the exact same top speed. You didn't actually slow him down or anything. He just feels heavier, but in a good way. Now, a ton of platformers do this. Super Meat Boy is a really good example of this, where they speed up the character really fast and it makes it feel really slippery. It's a perfect example of what they want to portray in their game. And Celeste does it too. Its movement is so tightly tuned and it feels precise and weighty at the same time. So for example, instead of slamming the velocity straight to full speed, we can just ease it into it with move toward. This is a function inside of Godot that we can apply to the velocity. Okay, so the next one is actually one of my favorites, and that is squish and stretch. You're basically just stretching the character when you jump and squishing him when you land. This gives the character a bit more life, I guess, and it makes him just feel more alive and have more impact. Now, keep that word in mind, impact, because we are going to actually come back to it. But sticking on this, the cool part about this is you're not actually changing anything. You're just changing how the sprite itself looks, not the actual hitbox. So it doesn't change the gameplay at all, it just changes how it feels. Hollow Knight and Mario are really good examples of this. Now with this, we can squish the scale on landing and let it spring back with an elastic tween. And again, keep in mind that we're only scaling the sprite, not the hitbox. So the gameplay itself never changes. Now, you remember when we talked about impact? Well, that's what we're going to do here. We're going to add a bit more impact to the actual character. When the character lands right now, nothing's really happening. So we can change that. We can add a little puff dust when he lands or moves or whatever you want. We can add a little tiny screen shake. Now, emphasis on the word tiny, because we don't want this to be a crazy screen shake when we jump, because we might want to add a screen shake when we die instead. And that one should feel like you're actually dying. Now, the third one, which is very, very sneaky, which not all games do, is to freeze the game. And yeah, you heard that right. We're going to freeze the game. But it's very, very subtle. You don't really see it, but it does happen, and you feel the jump a bit more. It kind of gives that difference between a tap and a jump. Now, I want to emphasize on the idea of making something tiny, because when we add too much of these effects all at once, you'll get dizzy. So if you look at this, like this is just too much. I don't even want to show you this because it hurts my eyes. Now, this is something we can drop, for example, to freeze the game. We drop the game's timescale to almost 0 for a few frames, and then set it back to normal. That's the entire freeze. Now, if you guys want to check out more about the dust and the shake setup, I'll be writing down on my website down below, so go check that out. Okay, so this one is probably one of the more popular ones, but it is completely invisible, and it's called Coyote time and jump buffering. Now, in a lot of games, when you walk off the ledge, you shouldn't really be able to jump, right? Like realistically, that's not how life works. But in a lot of games, you're given that extra cushioning to be able to jump off the edge. Now, it depends on the game, but Celeste is an amazing example of this, because Celeste is famous for being known as one of those more difficult games, but it actually has this, making the game feel way more fair than it should be. It has these small little helpers. And Mario, well, Mario had Coyote time well before Coyote time was even a name, so Mario is like an amazing example of this as well. When you leave the ground, instead of instantly blocking the jump, we just count down a tiny timer, and if you press jump while it's running, we let it through. That's basically what Coyote time is. Now, jump buffering is the exact same thing, but in reverse. You can check out the full code in my blog down below. Okay, now all that is amazing, but there's one small other thing that we've been skipping over, which is sound. So if we play this with no sound, nothing's really happening. Like you can see the stuff, but you don't hear anything. Now, if we add some audio, it feels a little better. Now, there's one thing I actually want to point out here code-wise. Now, if you're not a programmer, that's totally okay, but take a look at this line of code. Here, we're going to be changing the pitch of our audio. This way, we're also randomizing it between a certain number, and that way the audio doesn't always sound the same. That's what makes the game feel not as repetitive. Having things be symmetrical all the time is just not really a good feeling, so randomizing the pitch is a very good way of adding randomness to our game that you can't really see. And honestly, if there's anything to take away from this video, it would probably be audio control. Audio is a really powerful tool inside of game development that we often ignore. Now, just for a bonus, we can add other small things into the game, like this coin kind of just flowing up. We can basically just tween certain properties inside of our game, like the label and the position of the coin to have it go up. And this game gives the game more feeling to it when you actually collect the coin. We can also add a little sparkle burst and pop the score's label scale, so it actually punches when the number ticks up. Now, those are 5 to 6 different small things that we've added into our game, and the difference is pretty daunting. It makes your game go from something that's not really professional, something that's kind of more amateurish, to something that actually feels a lot better. If you guys want to check out the full project code down below, I have it on my website, and I will probably show it or give you the download files on my website as well. So go check that out. I also have other quests and courses on my website. So if you guys want to learn how to make full games with juice like this, go check it down below. I will also have a new 2D campaign coming out on July 1st with a founder's code. So stay tuned for that and join my email list, and I will see you guys later.